Hello, this is Encouraging Words with Colin Jones. We got some things that are happening, particularly in the Middle East, with the United States and Iran. And I want to talk about how some of these things that are going on right now, between these airstrikes going back and forth between two countries out there in the Middle East, really between a country that's in the Middle East due to attacks that were brought upon that country, the United States, being by people that didn't particularly like the United States. The folks that are part of organizations that we've labeled terrorist organizations in the U.S. Okay, so we have that. So I want to talk about a little bit about that. I also want us to think about some of the things that Jesus said about the stuff that was going to be going on, at least back in his day and time, was still future events. And I want us to compare it against things that are happening right now as we speak. In that part of the world, in the middle, both in the Middle East and in other parts of the world, all over the place. Okay, so we got something about the starting in verse 8, we have something called, or we have in the book of Luke, there's a passage that specifically talks about things that are happening. And starting in verse 10, we see Jesus saying to them, nation will rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, famines, pestilences in various places, and fearful events and great signs from heaven. Okay? There will be, all kinds of wars, disease, famine, you name it, whatever. Terrible events that would be heard about. At least when Jesus was talking about this, these events were still, far enough out into the future. And he's saying, okay, well, you guys have to keep an eye out for things that are going to happen in the future. Things are going to take place after I leave here. Okay, to go up to heaven. Okay, so he says that there'll be lots of war. There'll be lots of revolutions. People overthrowing other people. People toppling governments over. Kingdoms that are going to be fighting with other kingdoms. Armies that are going to assemble. There's going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of war. It seems to me that with the stuff that's going on in the Middle East and in other parts of the world, in Africa and in some of these other places around the world. That seems to me what's going on. Okay, we have a lot of these different things, different aspects of where we were looking for these kinds of events to happen. So, but Jesus is saying, okay, but you don't have to worry about how you're going to be defending yourself. I'm going to give you basically all you need to have to be able to defend yourselves. Okay, when you face all this other stuff that's going to happen. Okay, don't have to worry about that. You're gonna have, okay, if you get if there's, okay, when persecution happens, as to when persecution occurs. Okay, I'll help you out. I'll defend you. You just have to be ready to speak. Okay, I'll give you the exact words that you need to be able to tell you. And then he also says that there will be a lot of terrible things that are going to happen. Big wars. Seems like there's another one that's going to be starting. Just started with the United States taking out a Iranian general. The guy that was basically served as the head of the Quds force. Okay, and for whatever reason was in Iraq doing some work for his country at that time when he was taken out. Two, alright, in that he's like, okay, but you also need to understand that we gotta stay faithful to God, faithful to who He is, right? So that's kind of what I want to talk about, just in relation, because it seems like, some of those signs that are talked about in the Gospels of the end of the age seem to be happening right now. So just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. Seems to me like that's particularly with the stuff that's going on between the United States and Iran right now. Okay, looks like those signs are starting to come into play. Okay, we're starting to see some of these things happen. I want to make sure we are aware of that. All right, that's all I got for you for right now. I'll be back with some more stuff to talk about in the next video. So, see you next time. This has been an Encouraging Words video.